And welcome to the beginning of the RID review. Today we have the three smallest of the figures I will be reviewing. We have Rail Spike, Midnight Express, and Powered Up Sideburn, who is going to be the first of our reviews. So Sideburn here is a very nice red Corvette Stingray. Now, if you remember in the show, he turned into a blue Stingray. This is his Powered Up version. As you can see, he turns into that fancy little red sports car he likes so much. And I want to say a huge thank you to Pretty Slick Parts and Sets, who gave me this for my birthday. Now he does roll, as rolling things should, and he does come with rubber tyres, which is a staple of, sorry, turn the light on, of all the RID figures. Still them anyway. As you can see, this one is slightly warped due to heat and well, not underside, you can clearly see where the robot mode is. Top side, very nice and sleek in, yes. He does have opening doors. Transformation wise, you want to untab the doors and then basically work everything free. Because, oh, and remove his gun, which forms the rear bumper, which is something I find quite interesting. Untap that, and get this up out of the way. Come here and pull back the hood on these two levers. Focus on the legs, unfold the legs, and they will unfold. Pull up the arm on this joint, and then rotate the torso slightly to bring this up and in, and then rotate the roof out of the way. Now for this one, untab it, because this post here will tab into that port there. Fold, get this all, fold the arm around, and then bring it in, and then bring it, and you're going to fold the bonnet down, which will bring up the head. Fold up the bumper, rotate it around, up. Yep, this figure, by the way, is very fiddly. Rotate this all around, fold this around, fold this back up, get it all tapped in place, bring this around, give him his gun, and angle these however you like it. I angle them slightly back, and here is Sideburn in his robot mode, and as you can see, it's a very awkward robot mode. Unfortunately, my figure's head is very, very loose, so full varnish or something in the near future. And he is very awkward. He is the younger brother, if you remember, of the car trio, which included X, Brawn, and Prowl, which I don't have. Articulation wise, both of his arms are on ball joints, so they can do full 360s. They can go in. This one can only go in and out slightly due to the bumper here. And again, due to the bumper blocking it, it has about 90 degrees of bend to the elbow and nothing at the wrists. Head is on a very loose ball joint. You can do a full 360. And you know, he can go, whoa! I can't look down. Waist has got a bit of articulation, at least when you're forward. You can go back, you go out that far due to the side panel here. You technically have a double jointed knee due to this part here, and then of course a little bit of foot tiltage. All in all, he's an alright figure. If you are collecting the RID lines, I would definitely have to say, if you're going to get Sideburn here, definitely get his sibling suit. In fun fact, this was also the basis for his Shattered Glass form. Yep. He existed in Shattered Glass as well. So that's fantastic. Now to the rail releases here. RID 2015 introduced us our first Autobot rail companions. If you were outside of Japan, you already got the 6-part team that formed Raiden. This here is Rail Spike and Midnight Express. I do not have the other one, just mainly because he's a bit of a pain to get a hold of. Now, I want to leap something forward. Unfortunately, due to the fact that both of these are the Takara mold, they have a bit of unfortunate with them, due to the fact that Takara at the time was going for affordability. Didn't really translate well over to the rest of the markets, so there will be distinct difference between the American and Japanese version. So Rail Spike here transforms into the Type 500 in the Zomo, and Midnight Express here transforms into a Max J7. In the IDW comics, he becomes a J4. He's turned from a J4, which is what this model is, into a J7. They roll pretty nicely. And if I did have the other one, I would turn them into their combined form, but there's really no point. So we're going to start with Rail Spike here in this transformation. Just love this blue. So you want to come here and untap this part slightly to bring out his weapon, and fold this part down, fold what becomes the hitch. And yes, the hitch does work. There's a little hole up the front here on that, and you plug it in like that, and that's how you can connect them. That's how that works on the back there. But yeah, you want to fold it all down, fold it all out, and there is his weapon. It does have a little bit of an LED, but mine is going. It's probably the batteries. Pull out the legs, untap the legs, and rotate them around. Come to the back here and unfold these wheels, because these are going to become the heel spur, and then unfold his toe. Now, if you were going to get this in confiner mode, these would split like so, and then you'd pull out the fists here, and they would become his fists. But it is good to unsplit when you can a little bit of his legs, just to make the next part easier. Come up here, untab the roof, fold it and rotate them 180. Rotate the arms around, fold down and rotate the arms around. Come to this part, and now you have to basically get it smooth. Fold down like that. That's why I said untapping the legs actually does work. I mean, fight with the head, get it up, rotate it around, and here you've got Rail Spike in his robot mode. And it's a very, very interesting robot mode. And yes, he can hold his gun. As you can see, he's basically got a small version of the bigger robot mode's head, and he is gorgeous. I'm loving the magenta eyes. You can see more of the lovely blue and white plastic used on him, but he is a bit awkward, unfortunately. Articulation wise, his head is not on a ball joint, but it is on a swivel joint, so it can do a full 360. Arms can do a full 360. They can go out on this joint. A double jointed elbow due to this double ball joint. Nothing at the waist, unfortunately. It's just due to the back assembly here. Legs can go forwards. They can't go full back, again due to the assembly, but if you move this panel out, they can go out and in. You do get a very interesting bend at the knee and nothing at the feet. So that's old Rail Spike. That's for Midnight Express here. Well, he's long. So to transform him, you need to remove this part. This part will be useful. It's a thing we'll need for later. Oh! Then you want to just make it easier. Unfold and pull this out. And then pull both of these sections out, the front and the back section here. Ignore the phone. Pulls it. Go. Sorry about that. Just to deal with the phone call. So you want to rotate the legs around and bring them down. Rotate this forward. And again, second verse, same as the first. And there you've got some of his legs done. You want to rotate this foot around. Bring up this part. Fall back this. You want to come here. Pull out the front of the tray. Rotate it around. Fold it up. And then come to the back here and pull out. And you've got both feet secured. Now you want to take this box off. And fold this handle here. And the part I pulled off earlier. Switch it together. If it's around the right way, first of all. And there you got his gun. Fold down his little tab. Bring out this arm. Bring it down. Bring out this arm. Bring it down. Tab is weapon arm. Bring those up. Fold his head round. And he's now like, soon. And then you want to bring his head back. And then you want to bring it down. Just so... And here you've got Midnight Express in his robot mode. And again, he's very, very awkward. Like, he is just awkward, and I love him. As you can see, he is very lovely in this blue and yellow paint scheme with the white. He's basically grey and translucent plastic in his legs. Not even joking. Which will cause some problems later down the line because it is thin. Well, this is early 2000s plastic, so shouldn't be that. Anyway, Articulation, his head is on a ball joint. You can go for 360, you can look up that far, but if you want to brave that really tight joint, you can look all the way up. You can look down and go, oh, I took my last sandwich. Both arms are on ball joints and can do a 360. They go in and out. They get a double jointed elbow, but that's mostly down to transformation. You get nothing at the hands, nothing at the waist due to the way it is. Legs can go forward that far, they can go back that far, so he can really kick it like wha-bam! Like he's from football. Very interesting knee bend because his knee's there, and then you just got shin. And due to transformation, you do get a little bit of foot articulation, just rotation. So there you go, that has been Midnight Express, Rail Spike, and Sideburn, who was feeling a bit too lazy. Damn you, Sideburn. So my final thoughts on these figures is that they're awkward. Because you can clearly see the early 2000s machinations on them. You know, they were just transitioning from Beast Wars and such into these gloriously awkward plastic figures. I mean, if you can find them, get them. I know that they are going for quite an expensive penny, especially the Takara versions. But that's what I want to talk about with these two. And their Pack Maker Rapid Run. Excuse me. One thing I'm going to have to recommend, if you're going to get any of the rail razors, get the American versions, not the Takara versions, due to the fact that you can still get the Takara versions, and they'll still do the same thing as the figure ball. It's unfortunately due to the fact that a lot of it is translucent plastic, it will snap, and you don't want that, especially with Midnight Express here, and the fact that his legs are basically this translucent plastic. Whilst it is early 2000s, we also need to remember that the early 2000s and late 1990s also saw us with gold plastic syndrome. Anyway, so that is the end of part 1 of the RAD reviews. Part 2 is going to be the big boys. Ultra Magnus, Optimus Prime, and Galvatron. Wish me luck. Bye! Welcome, my students and scientists, and I know for another time I've forgotten G1's Perion in the background there. One moment. Much better. And today we're continuing on the RAD reviews. And before we continue on with Galvatron here, I do need to mention one thing. If you have seen videos or pictures of my collection, you should note that I do currently have an RAD 2001 Wedge and Storm Jet, or Jetstorm, the repaint of the Beast Machines character, Jetstorm. Both of them are missing parts. Wedge is actually missing his chest and a leg, whilst the Jetstorm, or Stormjet, is missing his legs. So I will not be reviewing them as they are not complete. Anyway, on to Galvatron here, and here he is in one of his 10 different modes. Galvatron is the only 10 former. Some of his forms include a jet car, plane, dragon, as you can see before you, bat, hand, elephant, and 3 other forms that I cannot remember, including a robot in there. And you can just see how gorgeous he is, getting close here, on the twin dragon head sculpt. It is a gorgeous looking figure. And continuing down, we get some very nice details and such. Articulation wise, his heads are movable, they are on ball joints. They can open like so, and you can move the ears back and forth. They can move at this joint here and this joint up here. And the wings can move on hinge joints, and they can come out with this lovely translucent purple. This can spin. His little arms can go up and down and rotate a full 360 and pop off the ball joint. Very important step, that one. One moment. There we go, we've got the arms fixed, and they can move this ball joint and that ball joint. Legs can go back that far due to the wings, and forward this far. Get a bend at the knee, and a little bit of toe articulation. And of course, you do have tail articulation, swivel joint there, and a joint there. Now, he is a very chunky boy. Now, I can't actually do any of the other alt modes, because unfortunately, well, that would take this video to be too long. But the one interesting thing about Galvatron, here, this version of Galvatron, he is the only Takara/Hasbro 10 former. I mean it. Like, there are none left. Like, the most they're willing to do is 6-shot, grand shot, and twin shot his, as the 6 changes. Now, he's going to fall over because, unfortunately, his stability is not great. These are his weapons, these 2 dragon swords, and they have posts that can fit into his hands, and they can combine together like so. So down to transformation, shall we, Lance? We'll start with the legs. You're basically going to straighten them out. Untab the wings. This hole here will go into a post right on his posterior. You're going to rotate his legs 180 degrees around. Make sure everything is nice. And basically unfold completely open his mouths. His dragon mouths. Those are his feet. Come to the waist. Rotate this arm around so you can collapse it in on the joints. Come to the back. Mind the cat in the background. This post here is going to go into that hole there. It's just meowing because it's probably like, it's weird out here. Untab this whole assembly and move it to the side here. That's just going to get it out of the way. By the way, word of warning, this does love to pop off its ball joint, which is up there. Come to the arms, rotate them down, and then on the very nice twisty swivel joint, fold it and rotate. And fold his claws back. Second verse is much like the first. Rotate down, rotate around, and bend in. Straight down. Bring out his shoulder paddles. Untap his chest, and now the fun task of pulling up his head. Tap the chest back in. Fold out his crown, his horns. Bring up the tail. This is on a hinge joint, and this is going to tab into this post up here. So you want to bring this over here. Well, actually, no, it's going to clip together like so. Then bring this over and just angle it down, because this is going to keep the wings in place. Then take his weapon and post it into his hand, which is now hidden away. And here we've got... tap the weapon and put it into his hands. And here we have Galvatron in his robot mode. And this is the upgraded form of I'll angle his wings back. You can angle them however you like them. Your toy, you do you. And this is RAD01, or Cars Robot, the Predacon Galvatron. And he is a gorgeous figure. Now, this figure is owned by Blazehorn Gaming, and it is a certainly stunning figure with the white and the gold and the silver. Getting close here on that lovely head sculpt. You can definitely see the ruby, the gold on there. Get down, you got the Predacon symbol in the chest there. And not much on the back except for kibble. Now, his weapons does have storage. You untab them from the things. Oh, one thing I forgot. Give. Galvatron, give. No. How about not? You give me the man. How about I just shoot you? This red dot is a button to launch this. And you just turn them around. Bring out the wings. And these posts up here, going to tab into that post down there. And that is where these live. So, articulation-wise on Galvatron, and then we're going to get into the pros and cons. His head's on the swivel joint. Can do a full 360. And his horns can move. Now, if you've pulled out the mouthpiece for the bat mode, his head will not move. Arms cannot do a full 360. Unless you angle the wings out of the way, they can do a full 360. They can swivel at the bicep, bend at the elbow, and you do get a little bit of wrist articulation. As mentioned before, the wings are on double hinge joints. Hinge joint at the base here, and up at this part here, so you can actually get some dynamic posing. Nothing at the waist, unless, unfortunately, you get a thigh swivel. Thighs can go out, legs can go up that far, basically do the full splits. Can go forward yay far due to this part, and if you move the tail out of the way, you can move out of the way. Go back that far. That double jointed joint I mentioned before really means for some good knee poses, but very awkward knee poses. So you get about double jointed knees, and because the feet are essentially the dragon heads, they're on a ball joint, so you can angle the feet any way you would like it. This is when my tongue stops working, to quote Imgo. So, now to get on to the pros and cons. The pros of this figure are he is a very gorgeous figure. Not only that, but he'd also be the one figure in your collection to have 10 alternative modes. There are some very big cons, unfortunately. It's due to the fact that this gold plasticky here on the horns, the wing fingers, the wheel spikes here, and of course his chest are chrome. They will scuff. Not only that, but this Galvatron does have a lot of, well, he's very heavily weighted, depending on which alt mode you have him in. As you saw with the Dragon mode, he is supported by his tail and his arms. Not really much in support. Not only that, but you do risk the chance of breaking it, because we are still talking about early 2000s plastic here. The plastic quality, whilst good, is not as great as it could be. I know that this figure can break quite easily, but I digress. So that has been RID01. We'll be reviewing his Autobot compatriots soon. This is Duncan saying G1 Superior, and I'll catch you next time. Bye! And now we've entered the last path. Today, we are going to be reviewing Transformers 2001, Fire Convoy, or Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus. I'm Duncan Singh. Welcome, my students and scientists, and welcome to, arguably, the Chonk. Here before you have Transformers 2001, I think, leader class, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus, who we'll take a look at first, as you can see, is a very interesting car carrier. And yes, if you do have X, Brawn, Sideburn, and Prowl, you can, and do, have an ability to transport them on the back of Magnus here. And he is very, very chunky, and as you can see, very, very large. So if you can have him in the vehicle mode, yeah. As you can see, he's got some lovely painted details, again with this chrome that is found on all things, and this lovely Autobot symbol. You can see a Mega Prime's head in there. Hello, I'm in here. I'm the driver. He does come with his weapon. I just cannot find it at the moment. I've put it somewhere. And as you can see, there's that. Now, he does have a bit of play features. What? Play features? Yeah, if you fold down these, you have access to a ramp. That's awesome. And not only that, but you can angle, if you move these bits out of the way, you can, let me show it up, do that. You can lower that down to get things on the top ramp. And, fun fact, if you also have the rail, Team Bullet Train, the tow truck, and any of the Decepticons, because let's not forget they reuse Bruticus and RID01, you can put them on there. And you can even put Optimus Prime on there. I'm easily amused. Now, one thing I will point out about RID is that all of the car figures have rubber tires. Magnus has it, X, Cyburn had it, and Prime has it. And look at Prime. He is a gorgeous alt mode. Now, I brought this figure last year, these figures. Ultra Magnus, Galvatron, and Optimus Prime here from a mate of mine who was selling them because, well, he needed things for his car. Now, Prime is the only one who actually has lights and sounds. That's one of them. Combined to Super Fire Convoy. A short siren. Cybertron team transform. I think this is the long siren again. Yep, long siren. This is double back. Now, Prime here is a Japanese fire truck, and he is gorgeous looking. You will have to forgive these parts, they do like to untab. And, oh lord, do I love it. Sadly, no paint details, you know, like, they wouldn't have, the only thing you've got really is this in Japanese, which unfortunately I can't read, which leads me to believe this is the Takara version, not the American version. Articulation-wise, his crane does have articulation, which is awesome. They can go up and down, rotate, and can extend. Hell yeah, it's a really awesome toy. Now, this Optimus Prime would start setting a trend that the Power Masters tried to set up. The trailer unit, as you can see by the head here, is a combined form. So let's get down to transforming Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus into their robot modes. First of all, untab Prime from the parts that make up his trailer. And set the trailer off to the side here. One other thing about Prime is I don't have his little pistol. It's gone missing for me on the somewhere. Fold in the sirens. Now be careful you don't hit the button, otherwise you're going to get blurbs again. Fold out these panels here that basically have the front wheels on. Rotate them all around. Onto the front, second verse, much like the first. As you can see, there's a lovely plastic, but you can see his feet inside. Break the front of the cab away from the rest of the body. Bring it down. Untab it. Then untab, fold up this white bit, and rotate around this grey piece to reveal Prime's foot. Fold this down. Rotate around, and there you've got one leg done. Second verse is much similar to the first. Fun fact. Rotate around, then collapse, bringing up that head sculpt. Untab and fold out his arms, pull down his arms on the slot, rotate around the arms, and there you've got Fire Convoy, or or Prime in his robot mode. Magnus time. So Magnus is a bit of a fun clusterfuck. And that's putting it nicely. So first of all, take the top rails of the car deck and fold them up. They're going to tab onto these two clips up the front here. Then come to the side and untab these two big, hold that down a bit. The big Autobot panels. Pull them off to the side. This is going to make the next job a bit more easier. Remove trailer. We'll need that. We'll need this for later. Just put it off to the side. We want to focus on the body. Put the body up like this. And as you can see, visible hand syndrome. Untab and unfold these assemblies to bring this back. Fold this down. Bring this up. Just so you can get clearance for these to fold back. Rotate around, back around, and fold them down, and bring it down. There you got Magnus's jetpack. Come to the arms, fold them down, rotate his shoulder pads up. Then you're going to come to the front grille here, this bumper bit here. Untab from the side, and bring up, then refold down. Unfold, and then what I like doing is you can split the body here. It's got a hinge. This is going to get you easier access to these parts. rotate these around on some very heavy joints and fold, re-tab everything into place. Bring and rotate the head up, fold up these little side panels on the chest pit, fold that up, bring it into place. And this slot here is going to go on the tab, just there. You can see it. And you're going to fold it into place like so. Fold this part up, and then this tab on this part is going to go onto the arm. It's going to allow you to keep the arm in place. Rotate the arm around, straighten out the hand. Second verse, much like the first, rotate the arm around, tap it into place so you hear that click. And Lieutenant Dan, you've got no leg. And let's give our Lieutenant Magnus some legs. Bring back the trailer from earlier and split it in half. These tabs, these two parts exist on both sides of the trailer that you're going to smack them together. Take this blue bit and untab it from this part here. Rotate it around. Fold this down and this will form the front of the leg. Bring the leg connector up. Fold down. Now come back to the giant Autobot panel. You're going to fold this whole assembly because this just pop. This post just goes into that hole. Then you're going to rotate it backwards to cover this part up, and then bring the Autobot symbol up because this post here is going to go into that hole there. There's one leg. Second verse, much like the first. Untab, rotate around, bring forth, fold down, rotate around, fold it up, same time, bring down, fold down, pull up. Now these two nubs are going to go into Lieutenant Dan's, into these parts here. Like so. So now we've given Angsty Magnus his legs, and then we've got the second Autobot brothers in their robot modes. Now, we're going to start with Magnus first because I need to get Magnus out of the way. No, we'll save Magnus for last, but we'll get Prime out of the way first. So Prime here is very short. I mean, here's Prime. There's Magnus. Here's Galvatron. He's just taller than Galvatron. Holy crap. That's funny. Again, this is again owned by me. Because again, I borrowed from a mate. I paid quite a bit of money for this. So to get in close here on the gorgeous head sculpt. Lovely golden eyes, if you can. There you go, focus on there. There you go. And lovely chrome red. And the back is very nice. So, yep, articulation-wise, head's on a ball joint, so I can do a full 360. You can look up, not that far. You can look down very far. Why don't they listen to me? You can rotate his little ears. Arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out on that joint, in and out on this joint, bend at the elbow, bicep at swivel at the elbow, and a little bit of wrist articulation, although it is awkward with this kibble here. You do not... Oh, you get some waist articulation, so you can do a full 360 at the waist. Legs can go forward that far. Go back, if you move this up out of the way, back that far. They can only go out so far due to the way the hip is designed. Bend at the knee. And then you get some foot articulation. Now, one thing I will make completely obvious, this, oh, sorry, I need to pull that off camera. One thing I will point out, this part here does like to move a lot. Now, as Prime mentioned, he can combine into Super Convoy. What is Super Convoy? Well, as I mentioned before, this Prime was one of, would set a trend that the Unicron trilogy would follow through. And that I reviewed with Cybertron Optimus Prime. His trailer can become a whole bunch of parts for Prime here. But we need to get Prime here set up. So first of all, you're going to push down his waist to bring this joint out. And pull out his shoulder joints. You come to the trailer part. Two trailer parts go around the outside. So you're going to basically untab these parts here. Why? Because, well, you're just going to untab everything. Now that you've got everything disassembled, now we can start assembling. Untab from the joints, these parts here, as they're going to go onto his arms upside down like so. Then you unfold, bring around, and reconnect up. Sorry about that, I had this on the wrong arm here. So, you take this part, you want the silver part to face the correct way, because these two holes on the, there are two holes on the shoulder either side. They're going to tab on. They're going to these holes in here. Like so. Then you can collapse the arm in. So you can much like this. That would be Azalea Meadows Gaming. Finally waking up. Much like first. Bring the thumb in. Although the thumb is now fighting me. Like, come on, thumb. Yes, I had to do it off camera. Because the thumb was like actually trying to fight me. It's like, no, I'm not gonna go. You can't make me. There we go. Sit over there. Bring these forward. And you're going to break them like a fortune cookie. Nice rockets, by the way. And yes, you can actually use these posts up on the shoulder pads to tab these in. You're going to unfold the foot to fold this part in. You're going to come up here and you're going to bring out this part here. You're going to strengthen the foot, and then basically the post in here is going to go onto this hole in the bottom of his foot. Then you're going to bring the front of the shin hip. There's a post there that's going to go into this hole here. Now you got one mega hoof and charm palm. He's now very unstable, so Synchro is much like the first. Fold out, not too far, fold in, bring up, fold out. It is very awkward. Get all this stuff out. Put into the hole, tab into place. Then you're going to take this whole assembly. Now there are posts here and here that are going to go onto the top three parts up there. It's going to cement his, pull this out, pull the shoulder pads out if you need to. Bring it down, fold the chest plate down, collapse that down, bring it down. Now, it's the fun part because you've got to bring this up, around, and down. Fold down this part. Rotate this part around. Bring this part over. Get this one back nice and squozen. Fold that back in. Bring up his earpieces. And here you've got Omega Convoy. Or Super Fire Convoy in his upgraded mode. Now, as I said before, this was a trend started by this show. By the Power Masters, actually. Power Master Optimus Prime was teased to be released, but only ever saw its debut in the comics. I like to put the part there. Now, articulation-wise, his arms still can do a full 360. His head is on a somewhat ball joint. Can do look around. You still get the swivel, you still get the bend. You also get a new wrist articulation. Also some gun articulation. You still have that waist articulation, and with his new feet, you get no more feet tiltage, unfortunately. Because these basically are like slippers. You've just given Prime his slippers. The one fun thing is you can bring up this Autobot symbol here to bring out, I believe it's his Energon Matrix and targeting system for his cannon. Which I believe, in the show, he had sit on his shoulder like so. And of course, if you had the missiles you can bring forth, I'll just move everything in the moment. Bring forth everything. And you've got him in his mode. Now, sometimes he's really love to troll me, these missiles, because that's what they do. Now, in the show, Prime here, and Magnus here, and Prime here, could actually combine into Super Convoy, or Omega Prime. To do that, we need to basically do two things. First of all, take off all of Omega Fire Convoy's parts. Why? Because you are going to have to. Sorry about that, I just found it a lot more easier. So basically you're disassembling, but do not do anything with Prime here. You're going to need him in this mode. We're just getting everything folded back together because it's going to make this awkward process just a little bit less awkward. And when I say awkward, I mean awkward. And let me tell you what. This is going to make the whole thing just so much worth it. Trust me, I'm Hank Hill. Over there we have a cat and sells propane. Over there we have a cat and sells propane and propane accessories. Now I'm going to pause the video so I can actually get Prime here into, well, the trailer back together. So there we have Prime's trailer all back together. Now you're going to come to Magnus, and you're basically going to take him apart. You're going to rip off Magnus's legs again. Poor old Magnus. You're also going to rip off his arms. Poor old Magnus. You're just ripping him apart. Hello, Nightcap Gaming. How you do?
I don't want human interaction.
That's fair. So you're going to take the arms, and you're basically going to take his hands, and you're going to plug them into his, because they've got a post here that's going to plug into Prime's hands here. You're going to unfold the hands, and they're basically going to take a new position over Ultra Magnus's arms, over Optimus Prime's hands. Love to point out, by the way, Autobot symbol. Bring his shoulders out again. Push down Prime's head. Second verse is much like the first. He was going to go see the switches here. I believe this one took it with him. Yeah, and he took the switch with him. Blaze on Gaming, by the way. That's who I mean. Now you're going to come to this part. You're going to take this part, and you're basically going to sandwich it in on itself, like so. No. Yeah, like so. Because you're going to, you're going to fold it up, bring this part around, bring this part, and then you got to fold it like that, because you want the Autobot symbol on the outside. You're going to fold in Lieutenant Dan's new legs. You're going to fold out this foot that's going to go over this part, bring out this part, and fold the entire assembly like so. And just like Prime's trailer, you're going to tab it into place in the hole in the back of his foot. Tab it in like that, and then bring it up. Like so. Second verse much like the first. This figure, by the way, is very fiddly. But I don't regret paying by getting the figure. Into the hole, up, in, up, and there we've got Omega Prime torso. Now you're going to get Magnus's torso, because, yep, so you're going to basically pull this part down and rotate them around, because you're going to basically bring this up like that. Untab the chest and fold that down. You're going to rotate the head and then slightly bend it. Like that way, and you're going to basically force the head through the hole, ripping off Magnus's head. So you've got that all assorted. Come on. Pop back on. And you just leave Magnus's head out the back here to chill. Untab and rip apart the body. Because you're going to need to unfold the arms and bring them just off to the back here. Like the first, I'm not keeping this on camera. Gosh dang it. Bring back his weapon holder. Bring up the shoulder pads. Again, make sure this part's rolled back. Fold in the legs. And you're basically going to try and put it over Optimus Prime here. Now, parts will fall off because it is a bit loose, unfortunately. But once you've got it basically on, you're going to snap the blasted thing in place. If I've done that correctly. Oh, I've got too far forward. Snap in, snap Magnus's chest on there, keep his Autobot symbol up, bring Prime's head down, fold it up, collapse the now added weight, fold that back up, fold these in, and here you've got, oh, we come to the back here, we're going to rotate these up, and here you now have the sheared power of the Matrix. And a very awkward Omega Prime. And he's alright. He's not the best, because he basically captures the weakness that is the Ultra Magnus body. Because you really have, like, with this, you can either have it go down, like back here, and you can re-tab it back into place, like so, but in the instructions and in the show, it actually says for this to be up above on the chest, on the breast. He's now restricted in his shoulder pads, because unfortunately these do like to move a lot. Like these parts here like to fall off a lot. And of course you've got like that, because you're basically putting the bulk of what is Ultra Magnus onto the body that is Optimus Prime. But he is a gorgeous figure. Now, articulation-wise, basically the same movement, but with some limitations. Head can now look around, up and down. He's got some finger articulation now, thanks to his hands, but they're basically a hinge joint, so you can basically go like up yours. You can basically do angry, like RPG fists equipped. You know, he's ready to. For you to select him in a fighting game. Like, he's ready to just fight, like. Round one. Fight! And, yeah, we all know that Prime would just punch the crap out of him. So what do you do with this trailer? It basically can go whoop, like so, fold out the sides here, and then extend it, and now you can beat literally all of your friends in saying you have the tallest Transformer, unless you have Hasslab Unicron. So that has been the entirety of RID 2001, figures -2 that I own. Bring G1 Superior in. And that is going to do me for a while. Final thoughts on Omega Prime. I really hesitate to say get him. Like, if you can get him for cheap, definitely do pick him up. But make him one of the last figures you pick up, because he is bulky. He is just huge, as you can see. Like, limb-wise, like, look at that. It's just bulk, and he does have a lot of balancing problems. But, unlike Galvatron, he is very stable in both his vehicle modes and robot modes. And my major problem with Omega Prime here, and that is just Ultra Magnus in general, especially Car Robots Ultra Magnus, is he's just bulk.
Like, they sacrifice so much of Ultra Magnus for bulk. And the fact that he needs to basically be disassembled to be assembled into either or of his forms really doesn't work with me. But anyway, so that has been Transformers 2001 RID. Next up, I'm going to be reviewing Combiner Wars. So wish me luck with that. This is Doug Nibbersing. Chew on Superior, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!